Okay, so now we're going to show how to measure for a 4-panel vest. A little bit different than your standard 2-panel vest, but you should be familiar enough with the measurements to know what I'm talking about. We're going to measure the front width and the length. We're going to do the same thing on the back, and then I'm going to show you how to measure the sides. This is what sets our vest apart from the other vest, is the side panels. So the first thing we're going to do is measure the chest. You're going to have the officer put his arms out like he's driving. Put your arms out like you're driving for me. So you're going to measure virtually from armpit to armpit. That gives you 10 inches across. This way the officer knows when he's driving or he's in a shooting position, he's not going to have to worry about the side of the panel cutting into his armpit. Put your arms down for me. Next thing you're going to do is measure the length. You want to measure, just like standard, from the sternal notch to an inch above the duty belt, about where your navel's at. So that'd be 15 inches. So he's going to have 10 inches wide and a 15-inch front. The next thing we're going to measure the back. Turn around for me. With the back, you can go a little bit wider than a standard vest because you're not going to feel it when you're sitting down. So you're going to measure from 2 inches to 3 inches in on each side and 2 inches down from the collar. So he would be 13 inches across. Again, in the back, you can measure just above the duty belt, because when you sit down, your vest comes up in the back and does not fall down to the duty belt, so you don't have to worry about feeling that. So again, you're going to go about 1.5 inches, 2 inches below the collar. And he's going to be 16 in the length. Next, we're going to measure the sides. Turn around for me. Raise your right arm for me. You can measure either side. You want to put your finger about where the officer says he wants the height to come to. Does that feel okay? Yeah. Okay. Then you measure where your finger's at, just above the duty belt, which would be 6 inches. Put your arm down for me. They can go anywhere from 6 inches to 10 inches, and if the officer questions it, put your finger back where that 6-inch mark is, have him sit down. So I put it right here. Have a seat for me. Does that still feel good? Yeah. And as long as the officer doesn't feel like it's coming up too much on him, then you should be good. Stand back up for me. The next, we're going to measure the length. Now on the length, you want to measure right at this point, so you're going to measure about 2 inches away from the navel, and in the back you're going to measure 2 inches away from the center of his spine. Raise your arm for me. So I'm going 2 inches from the center of his spine to 2 inches to where his navel's at, which would be 13 inches. So the side panel is going to be 6 inches tall and 13 inches long. Again, with the sides you can go anywhere from 9 inches to 27 inches long. Just depends on how much underlap the officer wants in the front and the back.